In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the headlight assemblies on this Nissan Pathfinder. We're going to show you the passenger side, but the procedure will be exactly the same for the driver's side. Let's get started. Let's start by removing all the push clips that hold this piece on. If you just use a trim tool, you should be able to pop out the center, and then the entire push clip will come out, go along the whole perimeter, and get all of these removed. Of course, you want to set them aside safely so that you can reinstall all of them when the time comes. Pull this up and off. At this point, you'll notice the top of the grill for us is loose. Yours may not be this way because it should have a retaining clip here and one here. It's a little bit further down. You won't see it unless you look down there with a flashlight. Ours are broken, both of them, so someone's definitely been in here before, but you should be able to just pull on it quickly and it should snap out of its retainers. They're actually, the two clips are hooked into the headlight assemblies, but for us, this is already loose, so let's move along. Now on the side of the bumper cover where it meets the fender liner, you have several T20 Torx screws. Let's remove all three of these. This will release the fender liner off of the bumper cover, and this will make it so that we can peel it away. This will expose the 10mm screw that sits right up here, so take this out. There we go. Now let's do the same to the other side. Underneath you have more T20 fasteners, 1, 2, 3, and then a couple push clips. Remove all of them. Push clip right here. A lot of times these get stuck from sand buildup since they're underneath, so just be careful. If you break it, make sure you replace it and just go along and remove the rest of the push clips, which in our case are actually missing. So this is all disconnected already, but you should have multiple. And then of course the same 3 fasteners on the other side of the vehicle. At this point, if you have fog lights, go ahead and unplug the wiring. This vehicle does not have that, but if it did, you would just reach down here and get to the wire clip and unplug. Now we can pull the bumper cover away by just unclipping it along where it meets the fender. Continue following the line, the curve of the bumper cover, and pull this piece out. There we go. It's gonna sound a little scary, but I promise it's not breaking, it's just unclipping. And now we have 2 last push clips to undo. Last few pieces here behind the grill, you'll see some push clips. You're gonna have to get these off of here because this actually holds the bumper cover in place on these brackets. In my case, these are super stuck, so they'll have to be pried out. Hopefully they don't break. There's one, and then there are 2 more in the center and another one on the other side. There we go. Break that off there. All right, this is going to have to get replaced, but at least it's out. Disconnect these 2 retainers for this wiring harness. Just pop them out of here. On the back side they have a couple tabs that you can squeeze, or you could just twist that with a trim tool. It should pop out. There's another one right over here. Alright, now pull the bumper cover away. There are 4 10mm bolts holding this headlight on. The first one is right underneath this trim piece. Pry it up and take this out. Set that aside. The next one will be right at the top near the radiator. Of course, don't confuse it for this one right here. Underneath the inner corner of the headlight, you'll see another bolt. Take that out as well. And on the outside, on the fender here, if you follow this arm bracket looking piece on the headlight, you'll see that it bolts on right here. This is also a 10mm. Get this off of here. Now pull out on the headlight, but don't go too far because there is wiring attached to the back side of it, so flip it over. And on the back side, you're going to want to unplug everything. There are multiple connectors, like I said. Some of these are going to be a little stuck, so if you have a trim tool of some sort, a pocket screwdriver, something to help you pry on these little tabs. This one's pretty difficult to reach because the connector's there, and I'm just going to basically take this and unplug the entire bulb assembly. Get your high beam off. Unclip the wiring harness from over here. Low beam. And finally this one, which looks like it's the same situation. It's difficult to unplug, so I'm just going to pull the whole socket off, and then you'll notice the wiring harness is also clipped in underneath here. So pry this off, and this. Need a trim tool for this one. There we go. Headlight assembly is removed. There it is. Now I'm going to unplug these because our new headlight actually comes with sockets and bulbs, and I'm just going to use the new ones. This is a great time to replace all of your bulbs too, if you know that they're old. To easily remove this, I'm going to press right in this slot here and push the connector out. There we go. I'm going to keep this with the old headlight, and of course we're going to reuse this connector, and this one here is the same style. So I'm just going to do this and unplug it. Let's put the new headlight in. If you had any special bulbs, such as LEDs or whatever else you have in there, now would be the time to transfer them over. Also, one last note before we install this. This right here is your adjuster to aim the beam up or down. So at the end, when you're done installing the headlight, you're going to want to adjust it here to make sure it's aiming properly. Having said all that, let's reconnect all of our connectors. I'm going to start with this furthest one over here, just because it'll be easier to get all the other ones in. Make sure these all click. If these don't click, they could come off while you're driving, and then you lose bulbs. So it's not great. Okay, this was secured right over here. Get that resecured there, and then we had this one here, and the harness got secured right down here and here. All right, flip it over and bring it in. Make sure everything is getting lined up, especially up here. All right, that looks good. Let's bolt it on. I like to start with this one just because it's out in the open, and I'm not going to tighten it yet, but at least it'll hold the headlight, prevent it from falling down while I start the other three. Start this one, don't tighten it. Get this one in. Okay, we'll come back to this one. This being the last one, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it. Now tighten the other three. Now let's get the bumper cover reattached. Pay attention to your fenders and your headlights so that you don't scratch anything. This white piece here, the bracket, needs to go nice and flush with the bumper, so under the headlight it needs to line up all throughout the other side here. That looks good. So at this point I'm going to tap it into place. I'll make sure this lines up. Okay. I know this might seem a little rough, but that's how you get these to clip in. Do the same to the other side. Now let's get the screw in that secures the bumper right on the corner here. Snug that up. Now we can tuck the fender liner back in. Make sure that the ears that have the holes in them stay on the outside. That's where the screws go through, but these tabs have to go on the inside. That's how it secures. And now we can put the 3 T20 screws back in. Snug these up. Don't make them too tight. They're just going into plastic, and if you strip the plastic out, well, it's not going to get tight anymore. All right, let's go underneath. Let's put the push clips in, whatever you have for push clips, and then the T20 screws. Snug these up over here. And then do this same thing to the other side. Now behind the grill, let's put the push clips back. That'll lock the bumper cover in, slide that through, and then lock it in by sliding the center in. This one's not going to be very easy to do just because it's extremely limited on space here. Once you get it, press it all the way down. Do the same to the other ones. There are 2 in the middle and then 1 just like that one on the other side. Get these through, and the centers. Oh, there we go. There we go. Get that in. There's a wiring harness here that we have to hook back on. You got 1 retainer over here and 1 over here. Perfect. If you still have the 2 retainers here and here, mine are broken, but clip those in. And now we can put this cover on, make sure everything lines up, and let's get all the push clips reinstalled.
Now we're going to get the vehicle ready to aim the headlights. Start with the tire pressure, making sure all 4 tires are set at the appropriate pressure. Remove any excessive weight that's not normally in the vehicle. Find a wall that you can drive up to where the ground is level. Measure 25 feet away from that wall and mark the ground. Drive your vehicle up to that mark. With the headlights off, look for the center dot in the headlight lens. Measure from the ground to that center dot. You can use a ruler to help you out. Transferring that measurement to the wall, making a mark with some tape. On the driver's side, measure down 4 inches, putting another piece of tape. For the passenger side, you only need to measure down 2 inches. Now turning the headlights on, it is easier to do this at night or in a dark area. Locating your headlight adjuster and using a Phillips head screwdriver, turn your adjuster one way or another to bring the headlight up or down. Once the headlight is adjusted to the tape mark on the wall, move on to the next headlight. If you're confused because the beams seem to blend together, you can always have someone stand in front of the other headlight while you make your adjustments for that one. Now your headlights are aligned and you're all set to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.